be obedient and follow God. And sometimes it's hard to be obedient and follow God. Believe me, even as adults, sometimes there's things we don't want to do that we need to do, and we just have to do it, and whether we want to or whether we don't want to. But today, what we're going to do right now is we have a little activity. And so I'm getting ready to put this up for a second and make a wall. And what we're going to do while I'm doing that is underneath the chair, there are, I think, 10 or 16, something like that. They're going to see if you're sitting near or on a piece of paper. And it's underneath, and be careful when you pull it out. It has things on it that we have difficulty with, It's on a white piece of paper. It's a white piece of paper. You got it right here in the front row. You have it in the middle. Okay, so get it, pull it out. And while you're doing that, I'm going to set this up. Oh, I'm sorry. So this is like when you get, that one was like when you get mad if you're not a winner. You're all winners. You don't have to be in first place to be a winner. Okay? So the next one is being disobedient, disobeying. Some of you, we all have been disobedient. Every teacher in here has gotten in trouble with their parents at one time or another. I mean, we have to watch Miss Steele all the time, with the teachers. But anyway, but we all have, but some of you are disobedient a lot. And it causes challenges with everyone. So you need to not be disobedient. And sometimes you're on the other side where being disobedient drives you crazy when other kids do things they shouldn't do. So we're going to have, who had this one? Okay, if you'll come and you'll put that on the wall. Just like that. Push that on there. Okay. Okay, now, then what do you have? Talking back. Miss Steele calls it backsassing. Okay? When you talk back, it is not, When you talk back, it is not a good thing. It is never a good thing. And I told you one time I talked back once to my mama, never did it again. And we talked about this with Miss Batson and Miss Thomas. And we were talking about my mama's hand moved so fast to my mouth. I know it was like she was a flash or something when she slapped my face when I talked back to her. I never did it again. It was a one-time deal. So, don't talk back. Even if that doesn't happen to you, you shouldn't be talking back. God can help you with that. Okay, so here we go. Who had this one? Okay, push that in. Okay, now let's get. I'm going to get the bigger kids to do it. That you're okay. So you're going to peel yours off, and you're going to put it on there. See how we're kind of getting it in a row? So now lying. Lying, you can go and put yours up. Lying. It is easy to lie, especially when you get in trouble, because you don't want to get in trouble. But lying is never a good thing, because then you got to figure out what you got to say to cover up that lie. And you know, my mother told me, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything, because if you tell the truth, that's what you know. Okay, so let's see. They have math. Sometimes math can be really frustrating, right? Sometimes you can put that up. It can really be frustrating. But you know what? God can help you with that. We have teachers here that are willing to help you. But you also have to listen to the lesson when your teacher's teaching it. You can't be playing with something in your desk or drawing something when they're trying to teach it and then say, I have no idea how. Okay, this one is reading. Some of you do struggle with reading. You know, sometimes we do struggle with reading. That's a good idea to get them in a line right now. Yeah, and you know what? But we all start somewhere. And some of us learn quicker than others. And that's okay as long as you keep working at it, because reading is a gift. Some of you might think it's not, but believe me, there are people in countries that wish they could read. Okay, so here's English. Some of you do not like, oh, you already have it off. Okay, all the English stuff, go ahead and put it up. All the English, you know, because you have to do the writing, you have to remember where the verbs are, remember where the adjectives are, and the subjects, and the action, and the what's action, what goes with one, what goes with two. And, you know, sometimes that's frustrating. But you know what? God can get you through it. You have teachers that are willing to help if you're doing your best. If you're not paying attention when they're teaching, it's hard for them to want to help you because you weren't watching. Okay, now here is trust. You should be, you got it. Okay, you have to be a person that you know is trustworthy. When you're not a person that's trustworthy, and then you finally tell the truth, and you go, I really told the truth this time. Well, how do we know? How do your friends know? How do your parents know? If you haven't been being trustworthy, you got to be trustworthy. Okay, now here we go. We have taking things. Sometimes, some of you, it's not even stealing, but you borrow someone's eraser or their pencil, or you get a piece of their coloring book, but that's still taking something that does not belong to you. And it really makes other people upset when they realize you got something on your desk that was theirs. Okay. Now, and then we have name calling. Name calling. You know, I always tell him, he always looks so nice, everything. I love his shiny shoes. If I went up to him and said, those are the ugliest shoes I've ever seen in my life, who bought those for you? Your great-grandmother? Okay. Is that something that's going to make him say, thank you? Go ahead, put it up there. Thank you. Can you insult me again? I love being insulted. Okay, no one's going to do that. Okay? Here you go. Now, this one is sharing. Okay, to share. And you can go put this up there. Okay, oh, all right, sharing. No, we don't share our food because we can't afford, somebody could be allergic to something, and right now with all the COVID and other stuff, we can't share food. But there are some things you can share. You can share some things with your family, or share information with people. You're like, oh, there's a hole out in the playground, make sure you don't run and fall in it. You know, I tripped in it the other day. You know, there's things you can share, like, you know, just, there's many things, especially with when you're at home, you can share with your siblings, your brothers and sisters. Okay, what do you have? You have noisy. Go ahead and take that off, put up there. Some of you guys are so noisy. There's nothing wrong with noise on the recess. But some of you got to really work on that and not be so noisy, because some people are in a test and you finished your test before everybody else, but they're not done. And when they're sitting there trying to figure out the math problem or trying to read something, and someone's going, hey, did you hear about that? And they're like, here, okay, do I carry? No, did I already carry that? I can't remember. Okay, let me start again. Oh, did you hear? Can you go and meet me? Okay, wait, no. Did I carry the 0? Did I put the 9 there yet, or 10? Okay, when you do that, it really makes some people like, they're like, oh my goodness, where am I at? Or they're reading something and they go, where was I? And that really causes people's grades to go down. So some of you that are noisy are hurting other people's grades, okay? Now, here, frustration. Boy, this is good for you, isn't it? Because Michael's awesome. I love it, my own summer camp and everything. But he can get frustrated pretty easy, especially when somebody's bothering him or doing things that they know that's going to aggravate somebody. If you know it's going to aggravate. Now, she's one of the least aggravated persons. But if I ever came up and I was doing this to her, kept doing that, after a while, what would you want to say?
Can you please stop?
Yeah, stop it. And if I kept doing it, what is she going to feel like saying then?
Can you please stop?
And it's going to get, and if I keep doing it, she's probably going to say, do it loud.
Can you please stop?
Yeah. So you get that happening. So you got to quit doing things. If you know it's aggravating somebody, even if you think it's funny, it's not funny to them. Okay, go ahead and put that up there. Okay, and that's it. Oh, wasted. Well, oh, this is a big one. Teachers will love this one. Wasting the classroom time. You're sitting there and you're trying to do, Michael, over this way. You're trying to get work done. All aides and all teachers know this. Trying to get work done, and somebody is doing something, distracting people, making sounds. Like you're in the middle of teaching and you're like, and then you need to make sure you don't forget you can't carry the zero, so you have to go to the hundreds, and this becomes a 10. Then you can, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. Or taking a ball and throwing it up in the air or something. And then you're like, excuse me, we're trying to do this and we're online live. Okay, now, don't forget to make that into a 9, because now you have something, hey, or they're on their chair. You know what I mean, you're on your chair. And we're sitting here like, we're online. I have only so much time to do this. Cut it out. And you wonder why sometimes your teachers get frustrated. Because when you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, when you're supposed to be sitting, save the silly stuff for recess or for your break. You're talking at lunch after you have your quiet time. But these are things you can overcome. If you obey the Lord, like they said in this video, they said if you obey Him, if you follow His direction, even though it is hard for some of you to sit still more than others, and I know that, and we don't expect you to be the whole time. I know I couldn't do that. Miss Till, could you do that? What about you guys over here? Anybody over here? No, couldn't do that. Could not do that. But you can do it for a certain amount of time. Even kindergarten, you can sit there and you can listen. So here are several things that we have that are on our wall. These are things on our wall that we can overcome with the Lord. So what we're going to do is this group, we're going to get up and we're going to walk around this wall 7 times. And you'll notice, too, when they were carrying something, they were carrying what they called the Ark of the Covenant. And only the Levites could carry it. And that was what God had told them. So let's go, everybody. We're going around. I'm the leader. I'm counting the 7. Here we go. You guys can count. Every time I come up here, you can count. Ready? No, as I come around. And remember, even in the movie, there wasn't actually about a dozen people. There were millions of people doing this. There were millions of Israelites who left. Seems kind of silly to me. I can't imagine why we'd walk around 7 times. Why can't we just get in it and knock the wall down? But this is what God wanted, obedience. That's why. Okay. 7. All right. 7 times we've walked around here. Everybody come up front. Uh-oh, what's happening? Oh, no. What's happening? I'm going to go over to the other side. Oh, no, what's happening? Go ahead and tear it down. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's all torn down. You guys can get up and tear it apart. Tear it apart. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Okay, now if you guys will go take your seats. Oh, look at that wall. Okay, everybody can have your seat now. Be careful going down. Okay. Okay, let's go down now. Look at that wall. Look at that wall. Oh my goodness. Did God take care of that wall? He took great care of that wall, because through God, all things are possible. No matter what your circumstance, and you may have some bad circumstance, all things are possible with God if we are obedient to Him, if we obey Him, follow His direction, and don't give up, because He will never give up on you. In fact, I heard somebody say once, if you do not feel God's presence, you know why? Because He didn't move, you moved. So remember, as you, I have my phone ringing, but it's probably somebody trying to sell me car repair stuff. But anyway, so remember, God can do everything through something silly like walking around a big fortress and the walls coming down, when that is something that was impenetrable, that no one thought they could come down. But with God, all things are possible. So make sure you know, as long as you're following the Lord, that doesn't mean you won't have difficult times, because you will. But you need to remember that God can do anything. So let's go ahead and pray, and then we will go. Okay, dear God, I thank you so much for this lesson. And even though we watched a silly little video, Lord, it teaches us so much to depend on you. It must have seemed so silly to those millions of Israelites marching around a silly wall. How in the world would that get them the promised land? Yet they trusted Joshua, that Joshua's word was from you, and they did it, and the walls came down, and you gave them their promised land. Help us to do the right things we know we should do and depend on you even when we don't feel like it, or when somebody's bothering us, it's driving us crazy. Help us depend on you, and help us to remember when you died on that cross, they nailed you to it, they beat you before they nailed it, and you didn't call names, you said forgive them. Help us to forgive like you forgive. For it's your name I pray, amen.